Hello, everyone. This is Tom Fox back for another episode, and I'm absolutely thrilled today to have with me Mike Russ. Mike, first of all, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you. Thanks for inviting me.
Mike, tell us about your business here in Kerrville.
I bought a building about a year and a half ago, which was on Broadway, 1217 Broadway Street here in Kerrville. I buy and sell gold and silver, rare collectible coins, rare currencies, sports memorabilia, cards. Just put it in a nutshell: bullion, gold, silver. We buy and sell unwanted jewelry. People will come in, want to buy jewelry, stuff like that, or sell jewelry. We buy that as well. Flatware, you name it, anything that has precious metals. That's what we like to purchase. That's what we make our living on. So
What's the name of your business?
MR Mint Coins and Collectibles.
How long you been in Kerrville?
I'm born and raised in Kerrville, so I'm going on 48 years. So
Straight
my birthday's
through?
on the 19th. Yeah.
Graduate from Tivy?
I moved from Kerrville schools because we moved outside the city limits. So I actually went to Center Point my ninth grade year.
How long have you been in the collectible business?
Oh, pretty much my whole life, on and off, obviously. And I saw an opportunity. I've always been an entrepreneur. I first started doing audio video from car audio. So through my whole life, I was in between that, just a collector. But in the meantime, as I was doing my everyday life, I was doing audio video, I started with car audio. I started that car audio business about when I was 19 years old. From 19, I learned my lesson in business. I've failed probably 2 times in my life to figure out what business is all about, especially at a young age at 19, starting a car audio business in Bernie. That's what I did. I worked for other people, learned the trade, decided to say, yeah, I can do this. I do it my own. I like to be my own boss, even at that young age. Even in high school, I was an entrepreneur selling things, but it was always in my heart and passion to be a salesman, I guess. So I did that. I failed miserably. It is what it is. I was young, didn't know much about it, didn't know much about business. So I learned the hard way, moved on, worked for someone else for some time. And then I started getting into home audio, car audio. I mean, from car audio to home audio, it's not much difference, but you're dealing with higher end stuff like new homes, new home builds, putting in TVs. I was doing this when TVs were the big box projection TVs to the big heavy tube TVs, antenna for getting your TV station on antennas and stuff like that, the whole 9 yards. And it decided to go off on my own again. And that's where it kind of stuck. And I did it for 30 years. And now I've ventured into some property and things that I had an opportunity with. I bought and sold some properties and flipped those. Long story short, I did that, and I developed after all these years of doing audio video. I had my son at age 19. I had my son at a young age. He's now 29. And as I was doing my AV business, he was helping me with basically cutting cardboards in high school. We did motocross. We did a whole motocross life for a while, but at that time he was cutting boxes down, and I was teaching him from the very start, here's what you're going to do, all the way up to start installing stuff and then getting the computer programming and doing automation, all the other stuff, and moved on from that. At the same time, collecting. So keep that in mind. I'm going off my whole life story here, but whenever I did the 2 house flips, I saw an opportunity to buy a building on Broadway, which used to be an old pawn shop. And I was like, I've always been leasing or renting for the longest time for my company, which was MR Home Automation, which is still MR Home Automation today. He runs that company now, but I saw that opportunity, saw the building available. I made an offer, cash offer, because I sold 2 of the properties I had on a river, and ended up paying for it, buying it. And then kind of was thinking about this. I've been doing collecting coins and stuff like that. Used to be a pawn shop. I saw an opportunity, and I decided to dive into it. Dove into it last year, 2023. Been open for about a year and a half, but it took about 6 months to remodel it and everything. I think it was. And I was going to do the AV side and the other thing as a kind of a part-time thing, and just have the multi-purpose business there, and noticed how busy it started getting, and how many people are like, oh, you got a coin shop here. Oh, you buy and sell gold and silver too. Oh, wow. Yeah, I do that. And then, oh, sports cards. Oh, that's great. And then realized that my son was by now been in my business for 12 years or whatever. And I was like, "Hey, you want to take over the AV business?" And he's like, "Yeah." And at first he was scared taking on a business, and he has a new young child. I'm a grandpa now too, but he decided to take on the business, and now he feels 100% confident in doing it. So now we're transitioning that through attorneys and everything to turn over the LLC, him taking over, and then me taking over full time, because it's been now a year that I haven't been able to be involved in the AV business because it's been so busy with not only the gold rush, the gold's just going all time highs. It seems like every day it's an all time high. Right now it's at 32.30, I think it was. It hit up to 32.50, I think it was, per ounce for gold. Along with the tariffs is probably helping that, and China and all that other stuff. But anyways, but it got so busy I just couldn't handle anything with MR Home Automation anymore. So he took over completely. Him and Derek, Peyton Russ is his name, and Derek is his helper, and he's been with us for a long time as well. So he's taken over that, and I've been pretty much full on with the Marmont Coins and Collectibles over there on Broadway ever since I bought that building. It's just nonstop. It's just been busy. It's crazy.
Tell us a little bit about you mentioned the coins and the gold. What sort of collectibles do you have?
We really sports cards, really, and some sports memorabilia. We do have some. We're dabbling in some other things because this is our going in our second year, and the sports market is not the great. It's not like it's probably 10% of our business when you compare how much gold and silver is popular versus that, because you're looking at like inflation and you're looking at people need money or just the collectors, period. So the collectible side of it has been a little slow, and me buying the stuff has been very hot. We buy out in the States. People have collections handed down to them when your loved ones pass away, and they bring them to us, and we give them a full assessment and ask them if they want to buy it, or if we want to buy the collection. And that's what we're here for. We don't know anything. So we educate them all about the coins and stuff. But as far as your question is concerned, the sports stuff, we really like vintage sports baseball card. Baseballs are really our niche. It's really cool to see a Mickey Mantle autographed ball, or it's just when you see cards like that, or Yogi Bear, or just Babe Ruth, or any of those old, what started this whole era of baseball. It's just something nice to just have in your hand when it comes through the store. It's really great. But I would say my favorite thing in the store as far as sports collectibles would be old vintage baseball cards and stuff like that. We had a Mickey Mantle and Whitey Ford full signed baseball that came in the other day that we were trying to sell for a gentleman, but he came back. He said, "I can't part with it. I'm coming back to pick it up." So it was kind of nice to have.
Mickey Mantle, Willie Mays, and Duke Snyder.
Yeah.
The on the coins, if someone came into the store, what would they see? And if someone wanted to maybe start in on coins, how would you kind of guide them through thinking about starting a collection?
I think the wheat cent penny is probably where I would start with anybody wanting to say, "Hey, I want to get into some hobby, a collection, whatever." It would be the wheatback that started in 1909 and ended in that run of coins, 1909 Lincoln cent, which is the wheatback cent, to 1958. And so that's probably and then the next one would be the Indian head before that series, the Indian head penny, and as well. But my daughter and I got my daughter into it. She was about 4 or 5 at the time. And I said, "Let's start a wheat cent penny." She said, "What are you doing, Dad?" I said, "I'm going through some wheat cents and stuff like that, trying to find some key dates, whatever." And she sat in my lap and was like, I want to collect, or not collect." She didn't even know what collect means actually at 4, but she is, "I want to help you." So what was great is that I not only could teach her about history on that, because there's a lot of cancel culture on history stuff right now. And it's just, I want to teach her what, what the, who Lincoln is and where San Francisco was, because there's San Francisco Mint and there's a Philadelphia Mint and then the Denver Mint. So "What's the D mean?" I said, "That's the mint from Denver." And "Where's Denver?" "It's in Colorado." So there was a lot of teaching her at a young age what not only where Denver was, what a mint was, what the Lincoln was, what mintage meant, and everything. This is a pretty tough book. It's not too tough to collect, but if you're out there trying to just penny search and try to find these coins without going to a coin collection or coin shop like mine, to where we have those coins available, but we collected that whole book. but it took me until I opened up to get that 1909 SVDB coin, which is it's like the key date coin for that series. It was really cool to be able to build a book with her throughout 2 years of time, and then also at the same time open up this coin shop. So when people come in, they ask me that question, and a lot of people do. So I want to collect. So start with wheat cents. And so what we do is we buy wheat cents all the time, and we'll buy them in bulk, and we put them in a box. And we're talking about once we have probably 10,000 different, who knows what's in the bags, but we're going to start some workshops and stuff like that to get coin collecting back in. I think it's really important because it's like stamps. Stamps was really big for a while, but it's been a dying market. Stamps has gone way down over the years. I have a gentleman that works for us. He has about 35 years in the business. And he's, man, the stamps have just died. And he said eventually he's afraid that the coin collecting is going to die too. So the only way to make the coin collecting survive is push it and have workshops for kids and stuff like that. It gets interesting because it's great when you see a young kid come in and he buys a penny. I always go towards the Wheatback penny because it's the best series to try to find, and you can still get them in circulation today, which is probably the main reason why as well, because you can still search for them and find them at the bank.
Could you say a few words about your buying and or selling of gold?
Yeah, so generally we buy a lot of secondary gold that comes through the store. I think it's it's a hedge against inflation. Everyone should know that for gold and silver. But my process of people will come in and we have our sign saying we buy and sell in gold, silver. And we're not a pawn shop either. We're just a buy and sell shop. That's what we do. We're a coin collecting, buy and sell shop. No pawn, none of that. But what we do is someone comes in, they had a bunch of gold. Like this last week, we've bought a lot of gold. Let me just put it that way. And people were finally selling their collections or finally saying, okay, gold's never seen 32.40 ever an ounce. So now you start seeing people bringing in like lots of their whole collection. It's amazing how much gold, because I was like, I have to transfer a lot more money now because we're getting too much. One day it was probably close to 100 ounces of gold. And for my little shop, that's a lot of money to deal with and pull it off. And we pulled it off that day. But they come in. We do have a premium. All coin shops are going to have a premium. It's anywhere from 5 to 3%. A lot of people, my friends, say, "Oh, you make a ton of money doing that." Margins are really slim on gold because people are going to shop around and do whatever they can. But when they come in and they bring a 1 ounce of gold, let's say it's an American Gold Eagle or a Buffalo or Krugerrand or whatever, it's a 1 ounce gold. They'll bring it in. I look at the spot price on Kitco, which we use Kitco. A lot of people use like APMEX or anything, but those are kind of like future prices and they're kind of inflated a little bit. But Kitco is real time. I'm looking at it right now. It's the 32.21. The bid's like 32 or ask 32.21. Bid's 32.18. I look at 32.18. I basically make about 3% to 4% cut on that, and which is usually about 100 back is usually the term that we would use on a gold coin. So let's say they come in and it was 32.18, I'd be like 31.18 for the coin. I've got to have some kind of spread for volatility. And then they say okay, and then I pay them out in cash. If it's something over 10,000, obviously I would probably I always write a check when it goes over 10,000 because it's just, you want to fill out a bunch of forms. Anything over 10,000, you got to fill out a bunch of tax forms and stuff like that.
Right.
And so there's a lot of paperwork involved in there, but it's pretty lucrative. It really is. It's exciting. Ever since I switched to a job like this, I've never had so much fun in my life, because when you're doing it as a collection, as a collector, and now you're actually making money doing it, and you're actually seeing all these other different coins that you always wanted, and you're coming in and you're buying them, and then you're like, wow, there's been a lot of coins that I have to run the business still, but there's a lot of coins that I wish I never sold.
Yep.
That it's something that's always like a 55 double die on a penny. It's one of the big Lincoln cent pennies. The 55 double die is one of the big ones. But I had one come in, and a guy called me from Kentucky or something and said, "Hey, I want to buy that coin," because we have a eBay presence and online presence as well. So he reached out to me and wanted to buy it, and I was like, "All right." And that's one coin you shouldn't let go. in some collections, but you got to do what you got to do to survive in the business. So
Mike, unfortunately, we're near the end of our time for this episode. But before we leave, I wanted to ask you if anybody wanted to come by the store,
yeah.
what's the address? And then if you have someone wanted to check you guys out on social media, where can they go?
Okay. You can check us out on Facebook. We're going to start a YouTube channel. I think we're going to be doing some more stuff with you. But you can find us at 1217 Broadway in Kerrville. If you don't know where Broadway is, it's on the east side of town. That's probably the easiest way I can say is east side of town. You can also call me at 830-955-7205. If you're interested in selling any of your unwanted gold and silver jewelry or your gold bullion or silver, we buy it all. We haven't turned anybody down yet. So it's been quite a ride, I would say, but it's all-time high. It's a good time to sell. And also, if you need some to buy some and hedge against inflation or put your money elsewhere, I think it's a good long-term deal. But yeah, mrmintcoins.com is our website. Check that out. It'll give us a lot of information. That's mrmintcoins.com. So,
name of your Facebook page?
Facebook page is mrmintcoins, I think. I'm not sure. My other guy does the face. I'm not a big Facebook guy as far as like that, but Ryan Wagner does that. But I believe you can search it up. It's probably MR Mint Coins. I'm sorry. Sorry, I don't know that.
No worries. I'll figure it out and put it in the show notes.
Yeah, sure. We appreciate it.
Mike, it's been great visiting with you, and I look forward to continuing this conversation.
Sure. Excellent. Thank you.